For years, Donald Trump has warned that Europe was in decline. In his national security strategy, he went further claiming Europe would be unrecognizable in 20 years unless the United States stepped in to restore its former greatness. Europe does have serious problems, but Trump's diagnosis gets the cause and the cure wrong. Europe's crisis isn't cultural erasure or migration, it's structural failure. Decades of underinvestment in people, shrinking workforces, and political systems that exclude entire communities have quietly weakened the continent. Leaders often debate the symptoms like economic stagnation, social unrest, political fragmentation, while avoiding the underlying causes. To understand those causes, you have to look beyond institutions and statistics and look more towards lived reality. Across Europe, working-class communities face problems like closing down of factories, underfunded school, and unaffordable housing. No group reflects this more clearly than the Roma. With around 12 million people, Roma are Europe's largest and youngest minority. Yet they remain locked out of education, employment, and political representation. Their exclusion isn't accidental, it's systemic. While Trump points to Europe's weaknesses, these communities show exactly where the system is breaking down. Trump argues that Europe lacks confidence, especially in dealing with Russia. There's some truth there. Europe often shows caution towards Moscow while projecting toughness at home, particularly against the minorities. Across the continent, Roma communities are heavily policed, securitized, and politically targeted, even as European leaders hesitate on geopolitical confrontation. This imbalance reflects a deeper uncertainty about European values. Trump also points to Europe's shrinking share of global GDP, and again, the numbers support the concern. But the reason isn't regulation or culture wars, it's wasted human capital. If Roma employment rates match national averages in countries like Romania, Slovakia, and Bulgaria, the economic gain could reach billions of euros. At a time when Europe loses millions of workers every year, excluding its youngest population is economic self-sabotage. Europe also suffers from a democratic deficit, but not the one Trump describes. Despite their population size, Roma communities have virtually no representation in European institutions. Political exclusion lowers turnout, weakens legitimacy, and makes communities vulnerable to coercion and manipulation. A democracy that excludes millions cannot remain strong. Trump's implied solution, empowering far-right anti-immigrant movements, has already failed wherever it has been tried. Brexit weakened the UK economy. Hungary's exclusionary policies have produced stagnation, deficits, and frozen EU funds. Exclusion doesn't restore strength, it erodes it. Europe doesn't need nostalgia or culture wars, it needs inclusive realism. Investing in education, health, and employment isn't charity, it's strategy. China understood this decades ago. Europe cannot afford to discard its own people and expect to remain relevant in a competitive world. The real choice facing Europe isn't between liberals and the far right. It's between deepening decline through exclusion or rebuilding strength by investing in everyone it has long ignored. That decision, and not Trump's rhetoric, will shape Europe's future. For more such geopolitical deep dives, like, share, and subscribe Geopolitical Navigator. Thank you for watching.